I want to go out to our Luzdelia Caballero, joining us now from Malibu for the Palisades Fire, and you have a public information officer with you.
We do. We first want to show you kind of the conditions that we're seeing right now. These winds are relentless. They continue to blow in every which direction, as will naturally the embers. To my left, Sparkle will show you a building that was engulfed in flames not even 15 minutes ago. We're told by a firefighter this is a total loss. We'll hear from him in just a little bit. Across the way, not even 15 minutes ago, this building was not on fire. Right now, it is engulfed, what looks like on the inside, and things are starting to pop inside. So obviously, very dangerous conditions out here. We want to bring in David Ortiz with LA Fire. Thank you so much for being here and stopping and checking on us to make sure we were okay. How are you doing?
Well, I'm doing a lot better than a lot of these firefighters. These firefighters have been working all through the night, no sleep, and they're just driving up and down looking for opportunities to engage the fire. Obviously, this one here is a total loss, so they're trying to move ahead and skip ahead, get in front of the fire, and keep it from going from one building onto the next.
And what can you tell us about some of the challenges that firefighters are facing on the ground?
Well, one of the challenges has been hydrants. Certain hydrants have not had water, so they have to go off their tank. So that's been one of the challenges. Also fatigue. You know, you don't make very good decisions when you're exhausted. So these fighters have been going on all day, 24 hours since they started their shift yesterday, and they're continuing to work. But they're doing a lot of heroic work. There was a woman that did not evacuate down the road from here that's refuge inside a county engine, and we called in for an ambulance to come out and pick her up.
Is she okay?
She's doing okay.
Did she have any burns?
No burns. Her home was saved by the firefighters, and that's where they found her.
And talk to me about the multi-agency effort right now.
Well, it's all hands on deck. Earlier in the year, we had crews in Northern California. Now they're reciprocating, and they're bringing their crews down here. In Sacramento, crews all over the region have all come down here, and they're doing a great job, the best job that they can. And it's just one of those things where there's just not enough engines to be able to put in front of every home as we would like, but they're doing their very best.
Given that there are not enough engines, I would assume that strategy is very, very important. You were kind of talking to me about that strategy. Why is it so important to look at a building, assess it, and say, hey, this might be a total loss, let's move on? Can you talk to me about that thought process, so, and which buildings do you choose to douse and save? Right,
so what we try to do is have a space, a defensible space around a home, and anchor, or basically take a position around that structure and keep the fire from getting into the attics, because typically that's where you get the fire getting into these buildings, is up and through the attic. So once it's entered a building, usually if we have a structure fire, that usually takes 4, 5, 6 companies to be able to put that out. There's just not enough personnel to be able to mount that type of firefight. So it's a defensive fight. We're taking a bump and run, and we're trying to skip and find locations where we can safely engage the fire. We have adequate water supply, and the homes we are able to save that home. Once the fire gets into the attic, it's really not an efficient use of resources. So we're going to try to find a better opportunity to save a building that hasn't been touched yet.
And the explosiveness that these Santa Ana winds have caused, can you talk to me about the last time you saw something like this? I mean, this is something that was not only explosive, but it has been widely devastating. When is the last time you saw something like this? Was it back in 2011?
Yeah, 2011 was the last time we had this type of perfect storm, if you will. We have brush fires every year where it's around the year kind of thing, but having this type of gale force winds pushing the fire makes it almost impossible for us to defend a home. So the main priority right now for us is actually rescuing and protecting lives. Saving homes is number 2. So we're trying to do our best job to deal with the circumstances, but right now these winds, as you can feel right now, they're just unrelenting, and they're blowing in every type of direction you can imagine. So even having a strategy of where to put resources ahead of the fire is difficult. Once you get an amber a mile, 2 miles ahead where there was no fire, you have a new start. And then it's the fire crew is heading down that way, trying to get ahead of the fire and save the homes that haven't been burned yet.
And there's no telling how far those embers can travel, right? It's all dependent on that wind speed. It could travel a mile, 2, 3.
Yeah, it's Mother Nature's in charge here, and we're just reacting to it.
Well, David, we really appreciate you being here. I'm going to go ahead and give you a hug because I want you to pass this along to your colleagues. Thank you for everything that you do. You are heroes, and we really appreciate you putting your life at risk to save our community, and you give us hope and you give us, strength. So thank you so much.
Thank you for keeping us informed.
Thank you so much. And so obviously you just heard from David Ortiz. Just to summarize some of the challenges: wind, it seems like they don't have enough water in some fire hydrants because of a wide array of reasons, but obviously that is posing some challenges in this firefight: the wind, the embers, and it goes on and on. Certainly in the canyons and on the hillsides, topography does play a role as well. And they were also talking to us about their strategy. So they don't want to put out buildings that are going to put themselves out, if you will, when they're already deemed a total loss. They want to go and start dousing and protecting buildings that have a chance at surviving this fire. But obviously you can see and likely hear this powerful wind. These gusts just keep coming, and they're like pounding.
They're pushing you,
Your
yeah.
chest, depending on how you're standing and where. Sparkle Day is also a hero here, just keeping the camera steady because these winds will just move you around and batter you. But we are, again, being as safe as possible. As you all mentioned before, we do have the training, and we can identify when we feel we are at risk. And Sparkle and I have each other's back, and we continue to watch because, as David just let us know,
Wow.
This building, once it starts burning internally, it will definitely likely start falling either forward, back, or to its side. So we are at a safe distance here in the middle of the road from that burning building and this one that is, that fire is just chipping away at it.
That could be really scary when it comes to, once that building does start to collapse and burn even more. There's additional embers, and the wind gusts are just blowing you almost down. You're having trouble standing. Luzdelia, thank you so much for your reporting. We really appreciate it.